Welcome back to Black Cat Crypto Club. My name is Drake. We've had some news this morning on the SEC's lawsuit against Coinbase. And I've been kind of saying the last few videos that I've been really kind of dragging my feet on this video because I wanted to see if that motion to dismiss, the judgment on that would come out. And it did come out today, guys. So exciting things. Now, we did see that the Bitcoin market dropped on this news. And it's funny because this news is actually positive. However, the news headlines are very negative. And it's funny because the people who are selling this news they're going to find out, they're going to be able to digest what actually happened, and they're going to feel really silly for selling. And on top of that, guys, I was looking at some futures data last night and the open interest and shorts versus longs, and it looks like we are actually setting up for a decent sized short squeeze. So if what I was looking at, the data shows that if we hit about $75,000 per Bitcoin, we will actually see $3 billion worth of shorts liquidated. And when that happens, people who have shorted Bitcoin have to buy Bitcoin back and repay their debts. And that makes the price go even higher. So 3 billion in shorts liquidated could make Bitcoin go up straight up. So, yeah, just you're going to feel silly if you sold Bitcoin on the news because it's actually positive. But we're going to get into all of that, guys, and into the history of the whole case and some other cases and what it means. So stick around. But before we get to that, guys, we're approaching the end of the month and we're in the last few days that I'm going to be promoting and kind of spotlighting Ez's Rescue Ranch. So if you can spare a few bucks, anything you can donate to these guys really helps them out. So do something nice today. Go help these needy animals out, and you can donate directly to them at this PayPal at the bottom of this flyer, but I will also leave all of their information and that PayPal description or PayPal address in the description of the video. So make sure you go over and help them out if you have anything you can spare. So let's get into it. The SEC, it was last June, I believe, that the SEC filed suit against Binance and Coinbase. Binance has settled, Kraken has settled and stopped their staking, but Coinbase is the one that has actually stood up and decided to fight this. And things, guys, are looking good for Coinbase. We had the motion to dismiss come out this morning, and the judge ruled that it's not going to be dismissed. Well, it was kind of a partial dismissal. So we're going to get into all of that. But first, we need to get into what the case is about. The SEC is going after Coinbase for, one, their staking, two, their wallet, Coinbase wallet, and buying NFTs and things like that. And three, the SEC has named 13 coins that they've called securities, and they've said that Coinbase, by selling these securities, are breaking security laws because they're not a registered security broker. And so I want to take you guys over to the 13 coins that were named by the SEC as securities in this case. Let's go over to this article. So these are the coins that are named in this lawsuit as being securities. It says the tokens listed in the lawsuit are Solana, Cardano, Polygon, Filecoin, Sandbox, Axie Infinity, Chiliz, Internet Computer, Voyager Token, Near Protocol, Nexo, Flow, and Dash. So, now, guys, I really need to stress that when this happened back in the middle of last year, the SEC really hadn't gone through any of these cryptocurrency cases that they've just been losing time after time. And they've really had their legs cut off by the courts. So back when the SEC filed this court case against Coinbase, they really still had that sense of authority, and the market dropped. And everybody was kind of worried and afraid. Since then, we've seen all these lawsuits come out, and Congress and everybody just come so hard on the SEC and what they're doing that, like I said, the SEC lately has just had their legs cut off. And one of the cases that came out was the XRP case. XRP case was named a security, just like all of these tokens that I just told you about. They were named as a security in 2001, and XRP decided to fight it. So that judgment has come out since the SEC filed against Coinbase, and what the judge found was Judge Torres, she was the judge over this case against XRP. What she found was that it was kind of a split decision, but for the most part, she ruled in favor of XRP not being a security. What she said was, well, maybe initially when Ripple, the company that issued and made XRP, she said when Ripple was selling XRP to investors directly, that was probably a security. But now that XRP is being traded on exchanges, third-party exchanges like Coinbase, what happens is if I go to Coinbase and I buy our XRP, I'm buying from somebody else who's selling it. I'm not buying it from Coinbase, and I'm surely not buying it from Ripple. I'm buying it from somebody that I don't know and that I have no contact with. So what Judge Torres said was, it's not a security anymore, because you can't have a securities contract between two people that don't know each other and don't have any contact with each other. There's no contract that can be made. So she ruled that XRP is no longer a security. And that holds true with all of these other tokens that the SEC is taking Coinbase to court about now. So really, just on that precedent alone, that big portion of the case really is the precedent has been set. And so it's not looking good for XRP or for the SEC on this new case with Coinbase. So we're going to get into a few clips, however, about that were on the hearing, the motion to dismiss hearing, and Judge Falia is the judge on the Coinbase case now. And this happened a month or two ago, and Since then, even more things have happened. You know, the debt docs case came out. The judge in the Salt Lake court decided to sanction the SEC because the SEC lawyers were flat out lying to the judge, to the courts. And so now they're being sanctioned by the courts. I can almost guarantee you that Judge Falia knows her stuff, guys. And you're going to really, really see that in all of these clips that I show you. But she knows her stuff. She's going to know that the SEC has been lying to the courts, and she's not taking their word for things. And you're going to even see that in the clips that I show you today. But these all happened. I actually called in. There was a number you could call, and you could listen to the proceedings of this court hearing on this motion to dismiss. And I did call in and listen to this, and it was interesting. It looked very good for Coinbase. But we're going to get into some of the specifics. These clips are actually from Paul Barron. He did a really good job covering it. But we're going to get into the specifics of this case and just really watch how Judge Falia treats the SEC lawyers. In this first case, she kind of comes forward, and this is the beginning of the proceedings. She's just basically saying, why are we here? Why are you suing Coinbase for these securities? They aren't the issuers, yada, yada. Listen into this clip, guys.
I'd like to understand that a little bit more. I believe that Coinbase disagrees with you and says it's not that big a deal. But you've made mention of the uniqueness of it. I'd like to understand why I should care. If what you're arguing is that Coinbase is somehow, by providing these intermediation services, violating the securities laws, that the actual token issuers are themselves violating the securities laws, is that correct?
Well, not exactly, Your Honor.
Okay. When the issuers decided to issue these tokens, SOL or SOL, for example, do you believe they were issuing securities?
If yes, Your Honor, yes, we were.
You're saying that as to these 12 or 13 tokens, when they were initially issued, these tokens were themselves securities?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. We're not claiming that Coinbase is the issuer. Are you arguing that they're a promoter in any respect?
A promoter of the offer or sale, not in the traditional sense of what you would call promotion.
Okay.
But no, not in that context, no.
I mean, what's the third party that I care about here? The Howey test speaks to it. So what is the third? Is it the actions of the issuers themselves?
The focus is going to be on the actions of the issuer, and the developer and the project team together. At the end of the day, these 12 or 13 tokens, they are just computer code.
I'm smiling, sir, because that's kind of what your friends at the back table are saying, and they're wondering why we're here.
And,
so okay, yes.
And I promise, Your Honor, I will get you there.
So you can kind of see the SEC there just, being pretty well grilled by the judge. And good for her for doing that, but they kind of, revert to that. I promise, Judge, we are going to prove, I promise. And the judge is not going to take the SEC at their word. She's just not. We have proof that they lie to the courts. So she's not going to take them on their word. And we continue to see that through all of these clips. But in this next clip, she continues to ask, well, why are we suing Coinbase? They're just a third party. And, why? She continues to kind of grill the SEC. Why are we here? So listen to this.
When a customer opens an account on Coinbase and wants to look at different tokens to purchase and sees one of these 13 in particular as example, they can click on it and they can be linked right there to all of this information, including the value proposition for these tokens based on what these issuers and project team members are doing. So the focus...
Okay, but please pause. Had they not done that, would you still believe these intermediation services to bring them within the securities laws, and if so, on what basis?
Yes, the answer is yes.
But the thing about Terraform and the thing about Ripple, we're not talking about the issuer of the crypto asset. We're talking about an entity that put it on their platform. That, to me, is a level removed. And that's the concern I have about how these entities should have known. And you or your colleagues saying strict liability doesn't make me feel better about it. So I'm just confirming, at a minimum, the conduct was placing on the platform stuff that you now tell me amounts to a security.
Yes, the short answer is yes, Your Honor. Let me just clarify, though.
Please.
The token itself is not the security.
I understand that, right, and that's what, was it Mr. Hinman or someone else who said that? Someone from your shop who's no longer there had said that, so yes. Token alone, not a security. So tell me what makes these the securities.
When they buy this token, they are investing into the network behind it.
Now, again, you can really see the judge grilling the SEC lawyers here. And not only that, but to me, she came off almost like her tone was almost like mocking the SEC, saying, oh, your guys are saying strict liability, just her tone was very mocking, in my opinion. And she went on she brought up the Hinman emails, which were key to the XRP case, which it was a whole thing. The SEC had to unseal these Hinman emails, and the SEC tried to suppress them and tried to hide them because they knew that Hinman came out and said these tokens are not securities. And so what we see is that Judge Falia knows the space. She knows what's going on. It almost, sitting and listening through on this proceeding on the phone, it almost seemed like the Coinbase lawyers didn't even need to show up. I mean, a lot of times court cases will be, the prosecution will make their case, and then the defense lawyers will argue, well, that's not the case because this. It didn't even seem like that was the case here. Like Judge Falia already knew. She already knew the information. She didn't need Coinbase lawyers there telling her what was going on. So it's almost a win for Coinbase just in the fact that she already knows the information. So in this next video, we're going to see Judge Falia ask the SEC, well, what is it about these 13 tokens that makes them securities? What specifically is it? So listen to this.
I'm trying to figure out what about these particular tokens allow you to make the argument that their purchase is not just the purchase of an asset, but the purchase into a system that implicates the securities laws?
Sure, Your Honor. I think the easiest answer to that question is that transactions in these particular 13 tokens satisfy the Howey test. That's what makes them security.
That's a little bit circular to me, sir. What is it about the issuance of these tokens? What is it about these tokens that brings them within Howey? And for you to say, well, they satisfy Howey is not a helpful answer to me. What is it about them? And please don't say Howey. What is it about them that you believe makes them securities? Thank you.
Okay, so you can see that Judge Falia, again, not taking the SEC on their word. And we've constantly seen through, I've watched all of the House Financial Services, Congress's House Financial Service Committee, all of the times that Gary Gensler has come before them and testified, and it's a constant thing with the SEC. They're trying to go after all of these cryptocurrencies, and they don't like really answering the real questions. They sidestep, they shuffle around, they try to be as vague as possible without actually answering any questions. And I think Judge Falia has seen this as well, and she just isn't going to take, one of the arguments that Gary Gensler and the SEC always throw out is, well, it fits the Howey test. But when they're asked how does it fit the Howey test, they don't really ever answer it. They shuffle their feet and they painted with a broad brush, and they never really answer the question. So you can see that Judge Falia isn't going to have that. She's going to make them get into it. And the SEC lawyers here start getting into, well, why it meets the securities law, why it meets the Howey test is there's ecosystems around these tokens. There's just ecosystems. And so they have ecosystems. It has to be a security. And this next video gets into that. Just listen to what the judge says, because she doesn't really take that as a thing either.
You've seen tokens that where there was no ecosystem.
I believe that the commission has taken the position that the Bitcoin token is not a security. There's no ecosystem behind it, and I think that's the easiest way to look at it. Even with these 13, I don't know if I'm sensing Your Honor's next question or not, but
I doubt it.
By the acknowledgement, the concession that Bitcoin is a commodity, not a security. Bitcoin has every bit the ecosystem of these other tokens. Bitcoin is an ecosystem just like all of the others. And that won't do as a limiting principle as the commission's.
Again, you see Judge Falia being a bit snarky with the lawyers there. They can probably, I wasn't watching, there weren't cameras, but the SEC probably saw on Judge Falia's face that she was not impressed. And you could hear him kind of pivot and say, well, I think, if I know what your next question's going to be. And she comes back and is like, I doubt it. Don't count on that, guy. So just being kind of snarky with the SEC lawyer there. And the fact that he says that Bitcoin doesn't have an ecosystem. I mean, I don't know what reality that guy's living in. How can you, I can't even get into that. So this next video kind of gets into burning, and that's going to come into play later in another clip. But mainly what I want you to listen to here is the SEC lawyer here takes a very bold move when it comes to the XRP case, because Judge Falia says, oh, so you're saying that this previous case, this precedent, this established court case, they were wrong? So listen to what the SEC lawyer says here.
if we look at the Chile token, for example, they launched the network and then they continue to expand and add value to it. Now, how does that play out in real practice? Well, if you look at Chile, the original white paper and its website feature biographies of the founders. In fact, in one tweet that they sent out, it's, quote, "Demand for CHZ exploded. Going to bring a lot of value." And they also made efforts to drive secondary market trading by burning, and that's a term for, creating scarcity in the tokens to make them more valuable.
And so this is where you're disagreeing with Judge Torres in the Ripple case.
Correct, Your Honor.
Now, you can see the SEC lawyer getting himself in a bit of hot water there, basically coming out and challenging the courts, challenging the judges, and saying, nope, they were wrong. So, pretty bold move there, in my opinion. I don't know that I would have the guts to challenge the very courts you're in front of, basically. But a bold move nonetheless. This next video, we are going to see Judge Falia get into that other part of the case, and that is the staking that Coinbase provides its customers. You can stake several coins. And this was very surprising to me, actually. So just listen into what what the judge says and the SEC lawyers kind of converse about according to Coinbase's staking program. Listen in.
I found staking to be the least traditional investment-like of the functions that you were complaining about here. So I'd like to understand what it is about that. What is it that Coinbase does in the staking context that brings them within the ambit of the securities laws?
What Coinbase is doing is taking an established technology and building an enterprise on top of it. Investors are giving up their crypto assets to Coinbase's control. They are pooled, and then Coinbase is using its managerial efforts to manage the enterprise, which is the Coinbase staking program.
Well, I mean, you're both fighting over what is ministerial and what is managerial. So one of the reasons I'm asking you what it is Coinbase is doing is to figure out what it is you're upset about, what it is you think they're doing.
Yeah, Your Honor, that's a fair question. I just want to bring it back to staking on your own. It's complicated and costly, they said. Coinbase will do all of that for you. That is an investment contract.
Right? I mean, they're
Absolutely.
Right. Okay. What is the staking conduct that Coinbase does? I want it in gory detail. What is it that they're doing that you believe brings them within the ambit of the securities laws?
The validation needs to occur in a timely manner, and that's where the slashing risk comes into play. Coinbase provides maximum server uptime to allow for greater odds of success.
So, like I said, this actually surprised me because Judge Falia came forward and said, this seems like an even further stretch, saying that staking is somehow a security. And in my mind, before this all happened, I was like, well, maybe staking is a security because Coinbase is offering a service and it could be possibly a contract. It's more of a contract in my mind than buying some token that I have there's literally no contract with me buying Solana. Like, I'm not entering into any kind of contract whatsoever, in my opinion. But the judge came out and said that this is even further of a stretch, and really criticized the SEC for bringing this to her. So again, it just seemed like the SEC or the Coinbase lawyers really didn't need to even show up. She knew what was going on. And yeah, I mean, this whole proceeding was just, in my opinion, very one-sided, really. But the next video, she gets into the third part of the case, and that was concerning Coinbase Wallet. And Coinbase Wallet, you can go on to Coinbase Wallet and you can buy NFTs and get onto decentralized exchanges and NFT marketplaces and things like that. And so this this is actually the part that she threw out today. She dismissed this whole thing, but listen into what she says, because NFTs, she really equates NFTs to collectibles like Pokemon cards or baseball cards or Ferraris are kind of a collectible because they don't make many of them. And, you know, just all of these collectibles, art is a collectible. She really gets into asking the SEC, well, what's the difference? Okay, so listen into this.
Understand how your standard that you've just articulated to me does not sweep in collectible markets or commodities, which is my bigger issue.
We are not contending that collectibles are secure.
No one is actually suggesting that you are. We're all just afraid that you have so little limitation on your standard that some really thoughtful attorney is going to bring the Beanie Baby class action. Even now, you could forswear it right here. That doesn't matter. I care about how I know that your test isn't going to implicate either collectibles or commodities.
You know, if you buy a baseball card, for example, you're not buying into the baseball card player enterprise. Collectibles have, you know, their own value. There is no way for somebody to make a baseball card more valuable. It can't be done.
In certain collectibles, I would have thought that akin to the burning that one has in crypto assets, you could have a limited edition figurine, or you could do something to limit the distribution of something, and that would increase its value. I'm just wondering if there are collectibles for which there is a group of people who are working together to ensure that there is a value. You know, it's almost, you don't want to dilute the brand, as it were.
Sure, Your Honor, there is that possibility.
The SEC comes forward there and says, there's no way that anybody can make a baseball card more valuable. And Judge Torres goes back to that burning concept and how there's definitely people in collectibles that can make something scarce and make it more valuable, or do a limited edition, you know, coin or card or anything. And so she really calls the SEC out on this and basically comes to the conclusion that there's no difference between this and collectibles. And that's why she threw this out. She threw the Coinbase wallet part out. She dismissed that in the judgment that came out today. The rest of it, she said, yes, we're going to go through and go to court with this. And you can really see in the headlines today are just horrible. Let me jump over to a few. These are the headlines today. SEC scores big win in lawsuit against crypto exchange Coinbase. Like, this is CNBC. These guys should know, but sensationalized headlines, guys. It's what runs the internet. Then we have The Verge. The SEC can sue Coinbase for offering unregistered securities, judge rules. Coinbase hits a snag in battle with SEC. Why investors shouldn't panic. This one's actually comes off as a bit positive. This is a new one within the last hour. But the majority of headlines this morning were just doom and gloom. And it really wasn't. The judge dismissed part of the 1/3 of the case, which is more than most people, I think, really expected. We didn't really. The thing is, guys, is that a motion to dismiss is so unlikely because the bar is set so low for the prosecution. All they have to do is say, well, it's possible. It's possible that these things are securities. Let us go to court and find out. So it's such a low bar that I think any of the lawyers that I've seen talking about it really just say, probably not. The judge probably is not going to dismiss this. And so she didn't. She dismissed a whole third of the case, which is actually great news. But the headlines, guys, the headlines has driven the price of Bitcoin and all of these other tokens, down this morning. But like I said, the people who have sold based on headlines are going to feel pretty foolish once they know what this news actually is. So I want to take you guys over to another quick clip. This was actually when Gary Gensler, one of the times that Gary Gensler went before the Congress House Financial Committee. And this first clip goes to a Senator Torres, and he kind of gets into this NFT thing and collectibles. So listen in, it's not just this judge that is critical of the SEC here. Congress has been massively critical against the SEC. So listen to this. This is a Democrat Senator Torres, and he really gets into questioning Gensler about these collectibles, these digital collectibles, NFTs, and the like. So check this out.
Suppose I were to purchase a Pokemon card. Would doing so constitute a security transaction?
You could purchase a Pokemon card. I don't know what the context is, but if you're just purchasing a Pokemon card.
If I purchase a Pokemon card, is that a security transaction?
Store, that's not a security.
Okay. If I were to purchase a tokenized Pokemon card on a digital exchange via a blockchain, is that a security transaction?
I'd have to know more.
Okay. So for you, the process of tokenization is what transforms a non-security transaction into a security transaction?
Look, if the investing
I thought you were technology neutral.
If the investing public is anticipating profits based upon the efforts of others and they're exchanging funds, that's the core.
I see my time has expired. So,
guys, you can really see that Congress is not having any of the SECs and any of his, crap about this. They're calling him out on this. And I'm going to get into one more clip from that House Financial Committee meeting where Gensler was testifying before them. And when I saw this, I was laughing so hard because McHenry, the guy in this clip, the senator, he is the chair for the House Financial Committee. So he's the big dog in the room in this proceeding, and he comes hard against Gensler. Listen to what he says here.
Well, I think the staff of the SEC have also, and the prior chair.
I'm just asking you this question, and this is not a gotcha. I thought this was going to be an easy softball into harder questions. Do you think Bitcoin is a security?
No, I think I've said this in the past that I think that it doesn't
I'm asking
meet
you
the
to
Howey
answer
test.
my question now. This is not supposed to be hard.
I know. I said it
Just
does
to
not
answer-
meet the Howey test, which is the
Okay.
law of the land about being an
So
investment
it doesn't meet the
contract
Howey
or
test.
security.
So therefore, it's a commodity. As I said in my opening statement, nothing that was non-public did you provide. In fact, you produced one of the letters that we wrote to you as responsive documents. It showed the absurdity of it. So the General Counsel's Office has indicated to my staff that after a 10-week review process, these documents are ready to be transmitted. It just needs a vote. When do you intend to schedule that vote?
We continue to work with you and your staff. We've had, the commission has approved that some senior staff will be taking transcribed interviews, I think, with your staff. And we've
But that is not
approved
responsive to my document requests. This should not be the hard work of a chairman to answer these questions. You have 30 major rulemakings, but you won't even provide basic documents to us. Your unresponsiveness is non-compliance, and we'll have to take action if you're not willing to comply. You have a 10-week review process, and you've not provided documents. Furthermore, you haven't even done the economic analysis of your interplay of these major rulemakings that are going to affect anybody who owns a stock, bond, or any type of security. And so you've got serious questions to answer to the public and to Congress, and we intend to get your compliance. We can do it the easy way or the hard way. And with that, I yield back.
It's not just judges and courts is the point that I'm trying to make with those last few clips. Congress is fed up with the SEC and what they're doing. And I mean, they are not happy with this guy. And really, when it goes back to the court case, Judge Falia knows the system. She knows what's happening. She knows that the SEC is lying to the courts. They've been sanctioned for it. She knows all of the precedents. This is actually a very easy court case for Coinbase. And nobody really expected this motion to dismiss to actually, the chances of this being dismissed at this point were pretty low. I think some people said, well, the likelihood is better than most, because after hearing that hearing with Judge Falia, a lot of people were like, whoa, she is not happy with the SEC. So a lot of people were saying it's better than most, but still probably not likely, just because the bar for dismissal is so high on the defense side. So nobody, I mean, the fact that we got a third of the case dismissed is amazing. The fact that we didn't get a full dismissal doesn't mean much. The court case still really looks very good for Coinbase. And as far as these other tokens being securities, the court would basically have to overrule a previous court case, the XRP court case, where again, she said it's not a security because of the blind bid ask aspect to buying these tokens on an exchange like Coinbase. They can't be securities. So likely this court case is going to be a big win for Coinbase, and it's going to be a big win for all of these tokens. We've seen, when this all came out, the tokens like Cardano and Solana and Near all really plummeted. I mean, the whole sector took a hit when the SEC took Coinbase to in this lawsuit, but those 13 tokens really took hits. And since then, since the XRP ruling, these tokens have not only made a comeback, but they've gone to all-time highs. Not all-time highs. Solana has gone from $20 to we hit $200 a few weeks ago. So 10 times since it was called a security, because this other court case with XRP proves that it's not a security. So there's really not much to worry about here. Same goes for Ethereum, and maybe even stronger for Ethereum. We've seen this last week that the SEC is investigating the Ethereum Foundation, and it's looking like the SEC wants to find some dirt to call Ethereum a security, and it's just not. They're not going to find anything that will deem Ethereum a security unless they make something make up this new excuse on why it is, but it's not likely to win in a court case. So we'll see this court case. We're now in discovery for Coinbase versus the SEC, and we probably won't see the actual court case begin until next year. So there's a long time in between then, guys, but ultimately Coinbase wins this, no problem in my mind. And it's just going to be an even bigger boost when it does happen. So to all the people that sold this morning on news that said SEC scores big win, read up. This is a good thing, what happened this morning. And like I said in the beginning of this video, we're looking very strong for a short squeeze. It's just a matter of time. And when those shorts are liquidated, we're going to be hitting 80,000 in no time for sure. So guys, this video has been fun. I hope a lot of the court talk didn't put you to sleep. But again, guys, if there's any other videos that you would like me to make, let me know in the comments. If, you know, a lot of times I am talking about Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. And those are the coins mainly that fill my bags. Like, those are the coins that I own. But if there's any coins that you guys are interested and would like my opinion on, let me know in the comments. I would love to do more videos on some other coins too. So let me know if you have any questions on anything else. If you own other things, let me know what you're invested into. And yeah, until next time, guys, make sure you don't panic on FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt news lines, headlines, because those guys just want clicks, guys. And, you know, that's how the internet works these days, is got to get those clicks. So it is what it is, but don't fall into that trap. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.